Santeai, and welcome to an overview and summary of a fictional language I'm creating named Rath. I began work on it in 2018 as my first real attempt at conlanging, and have continued to update, change, and add to it since. For background, Rath is natively spoken by the Conlang people, who come from here. However, the expansionism of Kjumo has led to the language being spoken by at least the nobility in an area much, much larger than that. Firstly, I'll go over all the sounds found in proper speech. This chart shows all the used consonants in the IPA. They are pronounced like m, n, ng, p, t, k, f, th, s, sh, h, h, th, t, j, y, r, hl, tl. Aside from all the very obvious unusual sounds in this inventory, some notable things are the overall symmetry of it, the fact that there's way more fricatives than plosives, and the fact that aside from the nasals and y, no sound here is voiced. The consonants are written in the Roman alphabet like this. I didn't want to add diacritics or foreign letters to the romanization, so all of these can be written using an English keyboard, and most of them only use one letter. There are some things written with one letter which usually aren't, like ng, which is written with a Q, and sh, which is written with a C. Also, while t should logically be written with two T's and a H, that's way too long and looks awful, so it's shortened to just a double T. The vowels are I, U, E, O, and A. These are similar to your standard 5 vowels, but they are more centralized and with an sound. The vowels are romanized how you'd expect them to be, with the exception of which takes on a Y, as the only other remaining vowel-like letters in the alphabet are W and maybe V, both of which would look horrible and don't fit, so Y it is. The diphthongs are pronounced I, ow, a, oi, and e. They're romanized like this, and I have nothing interesting to say about them. Rath generally follows a consonant-vowel-consonant syllable structure, with some restrictions on the coda. Any consonant can make up the onset of a syllable, every syllable must have a vowel or diphthong, and any one of these consonants can make up the end. For example, the syllable tsin is found, but twausendst is unfortunately not. There is no vowel lengthening or gemination. There are two writing systems used for Rath, a logographic system and an alphabet. The logography represents whole words using single characters. It was originally much more pictographic, and these symbols were eventually simplified into more abstract forms, which were further changed by handwriting. Characters can be combined to create new meanings. In this example, the character for animal combined with the character for person creates a herder, and in its modern form it looks like this. The logography generally does not write pronunciation unless writing loanwords or foreign names. When doing so, the character for name is written, followed by individual characters which are written as syllable blocks. However, some words which should clearly be written one way are incorrectly spelled using simpler or similar characters. The alphabetical writing system spells out individual sounds and is rather uninteresting by comparison. It was quite recently engineered to increase literacy, and aside from some ligatures has not yet developed the eccentricities of an older writing system. I'll be covering some of the more notable grammatical features. I'd like to preface this by saying that I'm god-awful at grammar, but I'll try to explain it as best as I can. Rath distinguishes the roles of a sentence entirely through its verb-subject-object word order. The action comes first, followed by what's doing the action, and sometimes what the action is happening to. It doesn't make distinctions between things like he and him, and does not directly mark the subject or object of a sentence. Indirect objects are marked as dative, but are adverbs rather than a true part of the sentence. For a simple example, the sentence "Hlokili min kitasa" means "I left her a book," or "I left a book for her." The sentence starts with hloi, meaning to leave something, followed by kilimin, which means for her or for her benefit, then mi, and finally book. Rath does not use articles, so words like a or the aren't used. This sentence also doesn't mark the past tense for the verb. Marking tense is useful but not obligatory. Nouns are split into one of 5 categories depending on their animacy, each less exclusive than the last. The category of a noun can be unpredictable due to cultural beliefs and irregularities. For example, fire is believed to be a literal living thing and is classified as animal, while some insects are arbitrarily classified like plants. Words make use of an extensive system of cases and suffixes to specify and modify them. These can often change the word into another type entirely. For example, the word hasyan means at a river and is made of river and the locative case. But because at a river describes something, the word is now a literal adjective or adverb. This can lead to words changing their type and class multiple times from suffixes. An extreme example of this would be the sentence "Nfue hiuna moi kamasa," which means "there in a place of people of becoming irrational." Suffixes can also very often change with the class of the word or with exceptions. Tonchi means to not have something, where naki means is not. Chi and ki mean the same thing, but na takes on a different form than most verbs. For one last example, shokoi means this person, in which koi only applies to people or other sapient beings, while yampita is this stone, with pita applying to other types of nouns. There's a lot this video hasn't even begun to touch on, but hopefully this should serve as a good showcase and overview of the language. Be aware that it's by no means done or anything close to it, but it's at least enough for me to flaunt in a YouTube video. Ntempona.